Topic of today's session is Introduction to Python Programming. Yes, before we begin, we should know what is Python. Python is a simple, easy to learn, powerful, high level, and object oriented programming language. Why we say it is simple? Because Python is written in a simple English language. Its syntax are written in a very basic, simple language. Python is also called as an interpreted scripting language. Why it is called as an interpreted scripting language? Because Python is totally interpreter based. There is no compiler. Compiler is there, but mostly it reads the code line by line. So we need no need of compiler. Guido van Rossum is the founder of Python programming. Next, we have Python is designed to be highly reliable and it uses English keywords frequently. I already said Python is very simple. Why we call it simple? Because it is written in the English language and it has very syntactical constructions. As you can see over here, this is a code of Python and here this is a code of Java. So we have to mention suppose we have to write a code where we need to write multiple conditions. Here in a simple language, we can mention a code. Similarly, suppose we have to give a command of print. Suppose in C or C++, we need to write 7 lines code, but in Python, we can give a print statement within a single line. That I can mention in further slides. Yes. Next. Same, Python is easy to learn yet powerful and versatile scripting language. Why we call it powerful and versatile? Because Python is used in every field nowadays. Its code is being embedded into any language. We can easily embed its code into C, Java, C++, and it is being used for application development. Next, Python syntax and dynamic typing with its interpreted nature. As Python syntax is very easy to write and it is interpreter-based programming language, and this is also called as dynamic typing because we no need to specify its data type while we mention any variable. It's automatically picks the types of the data while it compiles the data. Next, Python supports multiple programming patterns including object-oriented, procedural, functional, and imperative. So this is not based on only single pattern, it is a multi-line pattern, or you can say multiple programming pattern it follows. Applications of Python. Python is used by Facebook, Google, Dropbox, Spotify, Wikipedia, Yahoo, Netflix, everywhere all these applications uses the Python. Next, features of Python. So, as we already discussed, Python is very easy to learn and easy to use. Why we say so? Because we have already read that Python uses very less syntactical constructions, easy to write because it is written in an English language. It is developer-friendly and high-level programming language. Expressive language again. The same thing if a known programmer who doesn't come from the programming background, he can easily grasp the code or he can easily understand the code. Why? So because it is written in simple English, very less syntax is used. That's why everyone can understand it very well. So next is interpreted language. Again same. Python is an interpreted language because it executes the code line by line. So it helps in debugging and suitable for the beginners. Next, Python has a larger library. So you can find its library on any official websites of Python. Next, integrated, we can easily embed the code, integrate the Python code with C, C++, and Java or any other programming language. Next, we have history of Python. So, Python laid its foundation in the late 1980s. The implementation of Python was started in CWI in Netherlands by Guido and Rossum in 1989. In February 91, the first version of Python was released, that was 0.9.0 to alt sources. In 1994, there was an enhancement into the version and new version released, that was 1.0 with the features like lambda, map, filter and reduce. Still, founder was not happy with these features. He want to enhance or add on more features. So next version was released, that was 2.0 with new features like list, comprehension, garbage collection, etc. Yet there were many flaws in the programming language. So there was again new version came in December 2008, that was Python 3.0, that overcomes many fundamental flaws of the language. So here I have mentioned ABC programming language. So we can say ABC programming language is predecessor of Python. Many syntax or many features have been obtained from ABC programming language. Next, application areas of Python. So there are many application areas of Python. There is no such field that is untouched by Python. We are using everywhere, such as web applications, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data analytics, IoT application, 3D CAD applications, audio, video based applications. So everywhere you can say Python is being used. Next, so this was the overview of Python, that what is Python, what is its history, Python's feature. Now we come on the syntax of Python. So Python, I have already mentioned that Python is interpreter-based programming language. Hence, its syntax is very easy to write, and this is called as, we can mention a Python program in two modes. One is interactive mode programming and one is scripting mode programming. In interactive mode programming, you can directly write the code on the interpreter and you don't need to invoke any scripting file. As you can see the example here, this is your interactive mode programming, right? So here, after these arrows or these cursors, you can directly write the code. We have written the code print and given our statement hello Python in double quotes. So once you will write the statement, you just have to press enter and you can see your results here directly hello Python, rather than giving any other codes including any header file or mentioning any curly braces. We have simply written the code print and that statement hello Python. Once you press the enter, you can see the result over here. In the next line, you can see the expression we have given 3 into 3 plus 2. So once you will provide this expression without giving any other code, you just press enter, you will get the result 11. So it follows all the programming paradigms and you will get the result so easily without writing any extra code. This one is scripting mode of programming. In case of scripting mode of programming, we need to write the code in a scripting on an editor. Then you need to that file with the extension .py. To store any Python program, we use extension .py and that file is called as scripting file. So first you will write your program on any editor, then you will invoke that program into your IDE, you can say, or any environment you are using for your program, right? So you can see the example over here. Here we have taken any notepad or any editor. You will mention your program print hello Python print first program in Python. These two statements you will write on notepad suppose, and you will save this program. Then you will run this on your environment. Okay. Once you will invoke this file, so you will get the result hello Python. And the first program in Python, the statements written in the print command. Fine. Next, we have interfaces. We can use any kind of interfaces. First is IDLE, Interactive Development Learning Environment. Right? A cross-platform Python development environment. You can use Python Beam, you can use Python Shell or any other environment that you want to use. So in this exercise, we are using IDL. Ideally supports both the both interactive mode and scripting mode of programming. So first, where you will find the ideally, you need to locate the Python where you have Python folder. Okay, the latest version you have installed in your system. You need to find that latest version. You need to go into that folder. Then you have to click on ideally the version you have installed. Once you will click on the ideally, your and development environment will open up like this. This is interactive mode of programming, right? Suppose you want to work in scripting mode, you need to click on File, then New. The notepad will open. So here I already showed you the previous examples. After this process, we need to write the code. Let me show you. Yes, like this. So here you can see this is a scripting interactive mode of programming. After these cursors, we are writing the command print, and in that command we have given the statement hello and world. Once you will press enter here, you will get the results hello and world. Like this. Suppose here you will give the another statement, that result you will get over here. We no need to give any other commands, any extra syntax. We no need to write. Simply we can give the command which code you can write the results you want to obtain. Fine. So next is Python documentation. Documentation is a very mandatory step of every programming language, you can say, because with the help of documentation, it helps you to find out the regarding what code of line you have mentioned, right? And in Python, suppose for documentation, we use hash for single line command, and for multi-line command, you can use triple quotes. So this is example of documentation, single line command. Here, after this process, we have taken a string, a variable name, then given a statement hello cdc lambda. Once we want to print this variable in a print command, so we want to mention something that what we are going to or what we are doing here. So that we can mention through a command using a single line command hash. It will print the string what you have entered above, right? So from here, everyone can understand that what you are doing over here, right? A non-programmer can also understand from this statement that what you have done here. So this is the purpose of documentation, that everyone can understand the code you have mentioned. So after printing this string, we will get a result like this, hello cdc lambda. Next we have multi-line command. Suppose we want to give multi-line command, we need to use triple quotes. We can use triple quotes as a double quote also and single quote also, right? So wherever we want to give a double line, multi-line commands, we will start from triple line quotes we have and with triple line quotes. In between your statement will come. Next is data types. So this was all about how you can create a program in Python. Now the various data types that Python supports, because a data type is very important part of every programming language, because it categorizes the type of data, you can say, or it is the categorization of data item. It represents the kind of value that tells what operation can be performed on that particular data. In Python, we can say everything is an object in Python programming language. So here data types are considered as in classes, and all its variables are objects of that particular class. Fine. So there are some built-in data types that Python supports. The first one is numeric, second is boolean, string, list, tuple, sets, and dictionary. So these all are the built-in data types that Python supports. In numeric, we further categorize numeric data types into three types, that is integer, float, complex number. Then sequence type, we have mentioned string, list, and tuple. These three data types comes in sequence type. we will discuss over one by one. First is numeric data type. Right? We just saw that in numeric data type we categorize into three types, that is integer, float, and complex data type. The first one is integer. This value is represented by int class. It contains positive and negative whole numbers. In Python, there is no limit how long an integer value can be. There is no concept of long and short int. Any long value you can enter over here. Okay. So it comes under int class. Next is float. The value is represented by the float class. It is a real number with floating point representations. So it is specified by the decimal point. In Python, after decimal, we can enter value up to 15 points. Next, we have complex numbers. So complex number is represented by the complex class, and we represent this number in the form of real part and imaginary part. For example, you can see over here we have given 2 plus 3j. Here 2 is the real part and 3j is the imaginary part. Imaginary part is represented by j. So whenever you will enter any value, you have to mention j with imaginary part. This way you will write the complex number. We can, in a complex class, we can enter any number, any type of data. You can mention here integer data also. You can mention here float data also. Right? Just you need to mention in the format real part plus imaginary part. Next we have, this is an example of numeric data types. All the three types of data example are given here. First one represent for class A. Here we are using type functions. Type functions specify the type of data we have entered. Right? So here we have taken example A. Here we have taken a variable A, assigned a value 5. So in next line we are writing a statement print type of A. Then here we are giving a code type A. So what it will do? It will specify the class of this variable. So class, you can see here in result, class is int. Here we have taken float data. So once we will specify this variable in type, you can see the type of B is class. That class will be float. Similarly, here we have given the class complex. We have used the complex variable. So you can see the type. You can mention class complex. Like this, we can know the type of data using type function. Next, we have Boolean data type. So it is used to represent the logical values with the result in the form of true and false. As you can see here, we have taken a variable A and assigned a value 2. So once you will enter, you will press enter, you will get the result A is equal to true, right? But Python is a case-sensitive language, so you need to mention this like this only. T will be capital. If you mention it in a small letters, it will give you the error. This error, name error. We get the name error. Name true is not defined because in Python it is written as like this. So this is again another example of Boolean data types. For true, we are taking value 1, and for false, we are taking value 0. So suppose after this cursor, in interactive mode, suppose you will enter true plus true. So once you press the enter, you will get the result 2, right? In next example, you can see over here, we have given true plus false. As we know, the value for true is 1 and the value for false is 0. So once you will press the enter, you will get result over here 1, right? And for false, there is a value 0. So once you will add false plus false, you will get result false, right? There are another example. We have taken a variable A, B, and C. For A, we have taken value 10. For B, there is 20, and for C, we have done the comparison over here. A is less than equal to B, right? So once you will enter here C. Right? After cursor, you will enter here C. So once you press enter, you a sequence type. String can be defined as a sequence of characters represented in the quotation marks. In Python, we can use single quotes, double quotes to represent a string. And suppose we want to mention multi-line string, we need to use triple quotes. Triple quotes again we can use single or double. In any quotes you can use, right? So this is an example of string. So here all the example has been taken from interactive mode. So we have taken a variable string 1, string 2, string 3. So in all the variables we have taken some statements. So once we will write all these variables in a print command, print string 1, string 2, string 3, and once you will press enter, you will get the result, all the statements printed over here. In string 1, we taken hello everyone. In string 2, we have taken this is Python, and from string 3 gains string example. Right? Next, this is the example of multi-string line. Right? So for multi-string line, we use triple quotes. So here we have taken triple quotes. In string 1, we given a multi-line string value in triple quotes. So once you will print this string, it will get the result as you have written. Welcome to our program of Python. Next we have list data type. List also comes under sequence type. List in list you can enter duplicate values also, and lists are mutable. Mutable means we can modify the value of a list. In a list, you can enter any number of data. You can enter any type of data into the list. You can enter integer value also. You can enter float value also, or string value also. Mixed type of data you can enter into a list. So list represent a group of commas separated value of any data type between square brackets. For list we use square brackets. So here in first example you can see the example of a list of integer values. So here we have taken a variable name myList, and we have assigned integer values within brackets, square brackets. In next example we have taken mixed data types. Again same variable name we have used, but inside the square brackets we have taken a mixed type of data. Integer also available, string also available, and we have taken float data also. Right? In list, we can also have another list within a list. You can say nested list also we can create. So for that, what you have to do again, variable name, then within square brackets you can mention list within square brackets like this. With any type of data you can mention in nested list or list within a list. Next is tuple. Tuple is again same sequence type of data. Tuples are represented as group of comma separated values of any data type within parentheses. For list we have used square brackets, but for tuple we will use parentheses. So tuples are same as list, but tuples are immutable. Immutable means we cannot modify the value of tuple. Lists were mutable. We can modify the value of list, but for tuples we cannot modify values because tuples are immutable. These are the example of tuple. In first example, we have created empty tuple. Empty tuple you can create like this: variable name, then simply parenthesis you will give. This will create an empty tuple. Once you will press enter, you will see the result like this: empty parenthesis. This means empty tuple you have created. So in next example, we have created a tuple with integer values, right? Once you will give the print command with this variable name, we will get the result like this: within parenthesis 1, 2, 3. That specifies that these values are from tuple. Next, we have used tuple with mixed data types. Right? We have taken a variable name myTuple, and within parentheses we have used mixed values: integer, string, and float values. Once you will print this variable, you will get the result like this. Next, we can also create nested tuples, same like list. You can enter list also within a tuple, or you can create another tuple also within a tuple. Right? Like this, we can create variable name within parentheses. We have taken a string value, a list, and a tuple. Like this, we have created nested tuple. Once you print this command, you will get the result like this. Same values you have entered. Next, we have set data type. So, set is an unordered group of unique elements. You can create a set by enclosing all the elements within a curly braces. So, sets are unordered collection, right? Although a set itself is a mutable, its elements are unindexed in a set. All the elements given in a set are unindexed. We don't give the indexing in a set. That's why we cannot modify the. We can modify a set, but we cannot modify the values. Right? Sets are used to carry out math operations involving such as intersections, union, or symmetric differences. These are the examples of a set. We have taken a variable s, and within curly braces we have taken integer values. Next is example with string values, and this is an example with mixed data types. We have used float, we have used string value, we have used a tuple within a set, and we have used an integer value also. Also, we can create a list within a set like this. You can see here set. For creating this, we have used a set function. We have taken a set function, within that we have created a list. Fine, this was all about data types of Python. So in today's lecture, we learned about basics of Python, its features, history of Python, and data types of Python. Various built-in data types we have discussed today. Thank you.